An immaculate inning. 9-pitch, 3 strikeout. Rarely happens in baseball.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Immaculate Inning podcast. Drew and Shane here again. We're very excited to be back. It's been a couple weeks, so glad we're able to figure this out. I think first, just a quick note about kind of what's coming up. So a lot of you probably know Shane plays for Winthrop. So the college season's starting, and we'll touch on that a little bit later too. But with Shane's schedule, we're gonna make some adjustments to the podcast. So Shane will be joining us sometimes when we record at our normal times, and then some other weeks when it's not possible, he will do his own thing and kind of send in a video for me to put into the podcast, so that because we still want him to be involved, but he's very busy. Collegiate athlete in season is no joke, and it takes up all your time. So we'll be doing that. I'll have some one of my roommates, Keenan, big baseball fan. He'll be on a lot. I've got some other people lined up that we'll have on to kind of talk about some different things. So we'll keep rolling out good stuff. We'll keep Shane involved. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that first before we get started. So
yeah, I mean, I appreciate everybody's patience with us, and yeah, we're getting rolling our season. And the only thing I said to Drew, I'm going to say to Drew, is if he lets Keenan come on the podcast, no Red Sox talk, because I don't want our listeners to get too depressed over how bad the Red Sox are. So
they're
that's my
depressed
role.
fans right now too. So
yeah. So yeah, thank you. And I don't know what segment I'm going to be. Maybe I'll be like a little fun segment. I don't know. We still have to talk about that, but I'm excited to still contribute in whatever capacity I can during this time. And we'll talk about it a little more later. Tune into college baseball. Tune into Winthrop baseball. Whatever team you cheer for. But yeah. So Drew, why don't you get the ball rolling?
Yeah. So I don't feel like there's I don't know. This is a weird time. Spring training has started. Pitchers and catchers have reported. So everyone, we're all happy. Glad that baseball's back. Weirdly, there's still a lot of free agents available. Notably Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, and Cody Bellinger, kind of the top three. Matt Chapman is also not signed. Whit Merrifield did sign. I think it's going to be a 1-year deal with the Phillies. I mean, that's good for them. That gives them an extra outfielder. One thing that I am intrigued about is to see the dollars, and also if he's playing outfield, because I know I saw a press conference from the winter meetings with Whit where he was pretty insistent that he wants to play second. He views that as his full-time position, and he understands like versatility is a good thing, and he's open to playing some outfield. But the Phillies have a shortstop and a second baseman, so he must not have had very many real offers to take a but that's a competing team. So but yeah, so those four still remain unsigned. But
I got a question,
Oh yeah,
Drew.
absolutely.
Sorry on the Whit Merrifield thing. I honestly, when you said it to me, it was the first I heard of it. What was his deal? Do you know the dollars on that? Because I'd love to hear.
I will look. All I've seen is that they have agreed on a deal. I don't actually know if there is a dollar. Let's see. 1-year deal, $8 million. With a $8 million club option for 2025. Still pending a physical, but he provides a right-handed bat off the bench for them. Can play multiple positions. So I think they like that. That's high value for them. But I mean, $8 million is a steal for a guy. I'm a little biased. He's a South Carolina legend. But he truly has been one of the most consistent players of the past 10 years. Consistently hits 300, can steal bags, plays second, can potentially play other infield positions, maybe not long term. Can play left field and right field. I mean, just a great utility guy. So, just the free agency market this year has been really strange, and I just don't know if he really got a super competitive offer, which kind of sucks because he's an awesome guy, great teammate, and just really good all around player, super consistent. So,
honestly, I want to comment on that. You said he's a good backup. Like, is he the backup? I mean, so let's looking at their depth chart right now, the only secure lock that I see in the outfield position, uh, assuming that Bryce Harper continues at first, which I believe they said they were going to do,
Yeah, he's full-time first base now.
um, is Nick Castellanos in right. Their starting center fielder is Johan Rojas, and then Brandon Marsh and left. And I'd assume
Brandon
that
Marsh
Brandon
is coming
Marsh.
off a knee surgery.
Okay, so him and even Johan Rojas is like was really good at defense, but didn't have the bat. I feel like Whit Merrifield is a good defender with the upgrading the bat. So, dude, if I'm Whit Merrifield, like, I mean, he's not better than Bryson Stott. So, like, I mean, I guess you can do what you want, but like, I prioritize playing time because it seems like there'd be opportunity for him out there.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, and I agree with that. I do think he will start a lot of games in the outfield, but I know that I think he really wanted to stay at second base, and so that's kind of why I said off the bench, is because he's not going to start over Bryson Stott. Even if I mean, I don't think he's better than Bryson Stott, but there could be an argument made that maybe he should. But Stott is their second baseman for a long time, so. Um,
I didn't realize how
he'll
old Whit Merrifield was.
yeah, he's 35, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he started his major league career at 27. I guess that's
Yeah.
we're just entering an era where people start their careers earlier and earlier. But yeah,
And he was a
35.
3 or 4 year college guy. So, he didn't get drafted until 21 or 22.
And he's an all-star last year, and he
Yep.
was valued at 8 million. Like that's kind of I don't
hmm
know why that's so nuts to me, but I guess I mean the age has got to be the deterrent factor, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think, we're talking, well, I don't know if you remember, what was that, 2 years ago when Trey Turner hit free agency and they released that video and it was like ageless athleticism, or like athleticism that go away. I feel like Whit Merrifield is very similar. Maybe not quite on the same level as Trey Turner, but like is kind of in that similar threshold of like, kind of that athleticism that's not really going to go away. And it's not like, he's not a big power guy, so it's not like his power is going to go away. His, bat to ball skills, as you age, they do tend to get worse, but that's something that really takes a long time to really kind of take a hit. And I think like most of his skills are skills that really don't decline as much with age. Obviously, speed and stuff like that does, but he really hasn't shown any signs of that. So I am surprised by by the dollar amount. I thought he would get more, but
I'm just looking at supporting some of your points. I'm looking at his baseball savant numbers from 2023. His sprint speed is still 85th percentile in the league. He's obviously he's got above 80th percentile in sweet spot percent, whip percent, and K percent. Like he doesn't strike out a lot. Other than that, all of his metrics are not good. Honestly,
mm,
his batting run value is 24 out of 100. His fielding run value is 26 out of 100, and 50 is average, by the way. But his base running value is 80 out of 100. So I guess and this is for last year when he was an all star and he hit 272 and 11 home runs at a OPS of 700. So technically, he's a below average hitter by the OPS too.
hmm.
But he had 26, stolen bases. So I don't know. This is an interesting signing. I didn't even know about this until you said that. But that's um, kind of crazy. I have no idea what role they'll use him in.
Yeah. Um, I I'd imagine outfield, and then potentially give some days off to Bryson Stott. Um, I guess it's the next, I guess, big free agent signing that we want to hit on. I don't have a whole bunch to say on this, but I guess we did say that about Whit Merrifield, and we talked about that for a while. Clayton Kershaw has signed a 1 year deal with the Dodgers. Do you know how much it's? Okay, so $5 million plus incentives. Um, yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of expected this. We knew he wasn't going to retire after that playoff start against the Diamondbacks, and as much whispers as there was about the Rangers in the past couple of years, I think those were pretty clearly eliminated um, this offseason, and pretty much everyone knew that he was going to be with the Dodgers.
Yeah. I know honestly, I think this is pretty interesting for the dollar amount. He's 5 million. He's got a 1 year, 5 million deal with a 2025 option for 5 million again, is what I believe the contract was structured as. Um, so the thing with him and the criticism with him is that he hasn't been healthy. Like he's obviously going through the shoulder injury right now, likely not to be back till July, August. And for like a top level starting pitcher, which I don't think he is anymore. And people acknowledge that. Throwing around 120 innings isn't great, but he's thrown 120 to 135 innings his past 3 years, and you're paying 5 million for a guy who his highest ERA last year he was a 2.46 ERA in those 131 innings. For 5 million, if he gives you 100 innings from August through the postseason, that's a steal for 5 million bucks for a guy that is obviously a unanimous Hall of Famer when he gets there. But that's just crazy to me. I guess I understand why the value is there, but to me, it's a steal, especially for Dodgers rotation who could use a little push at the end. So that's kind of crazy. And he wasn't going anywhere. Maybe he could have gotten 10. I mean, Aroldis Chapman got 1 year, 10 million from the Pirates. They valued Aroldis Chapman higher than Clayton Kershaw. So it's just
No,
crazy.
I completely agree with you. I mean, it's a steal. This is I view Clayton Kershaw's situation kind of similar to Chris Sale's with the Braves. You're not going to expect a lot out of these guys in the regular season. You're basically just paying them to get healthy, throw some innings during the regular season, and then just be ready for the postseason. And I mean, like you just said, that's the exact point that I was going to make. Is when he's been healthy, it's been rare, but he's still been lights out. Sure, he maybe hasn't been dominant like he used to be, but he's still been an extremely effective pitcher. I mean, like you said, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer when he retires. He's an incredible pitcher, knows how to pitch, understands the game, understands how to get outs, understands how to navigate those tough situations. I mean, you know, this is exactly what that rotation is going to need there at the end of the season. Because let's be honest, as great as the rotation is, we have no idea what it's going to look like at the end of the season. Walker Bueller's coming back from Tommy John's, no idea what he's going to look like. I mean, we assume that he'll be really good, just because he was really good before he got injured. Glasnow has thrown over 130 innings, once in his career. Yunobu should give them a full season's workload. But then all these other guys like Bobby Miller and a couple of others guys who can pitch well. We just don't know what they're going to give us in a full season.
Dustin May,
S-
hope
Dustin May will
coming
return
back.
at some point during the season. I think maybe they're looking close to All-Star break. I think for him, but I could be wrong on that. So I mean, just a lot of question marks. Potentially really good
Oh,
rotation.
James Paxton too. I forgot about him.
Yep, big, but extremely effective, but also you don't really know how much you're going to get from him. And I mean, with the Red Sox, lights out first beginning of the season, thought about trading him after the trade deadline was not the same pitcher. He did struggle with some shoulder stuff there, but just was a completely different pitcher and really struggled. So this will be an interesting move. I mean, but I mean, like you said, I mean, $5 million baseline is, I mean, Aroldis Chapman got more than him, which is just insane.
Double.
So double.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I'll let you keep carrying this on. I think this is honestly the baseball news that we have to talk about, other than the key injuries to the Orioles, which we were raving about last episode with the addition of Corbin Burns. But a little bit of disappointing news. Drew, why don't you break it to our listeners?
Yes. So, Kyle Bradish, was he the ERA leader in the AL this past year? I believe he was. Um,
Who
or
won
he
the
was
Cy
top
Young?
3
Why am I blanking who won the Cy
for
Young? It
the.
was
I can look it up real fast.
Garrett Cole. No, I think Garrett Cole was the leader in ERA.
Okay. Um, yeah, but still, Kyle Bradish,
He
really
was
good
third in
year.
Cy Young. Third in
Third
Cy
in
Young
Cy
that year.
Young. behind Gray and Cole. It was revealed, was it today or earlier this week, that he has a sprained UCL and the will begin the season on the IL. They're gonna give him a, what is it, what's the shot? PRP, or that is that what it is? PRP, which is like, I don't quite know what that is.
Do you want me to explain?
Yeah, Shane, you can explain. Shane knows what this is.
So yeah, it's basically so you got three parts of your blood. You got the white blood cells, the red blood cells, and the platelets and plasma, which is just like the fluid. I'll make it as like baseline. Basically, you spin your blood really fast. You isolate the platelets, which is like the regenerative part of your blood. Like it has the ability to regenerate tissue and ligaments. So you spin your blood, and then you isolate those platelets, and then you take them out of the blood, and then you inject the platelets directly into like a UCL, hoping to regenerate like a sprain or something. So it's found to be pretty effective. I've actually done like papers and stuff on it since I've had surgery. Up to like 80% effective on sprains and partial tears. For full tears, it's not very effective. So I guess we'll figure out if his is actually a sprain or a full tear pretty quickly.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times sprains end up being partial or full tears, you know? So, I'm no expert on this, so I really don't know what I'm talking about. But, I feel like more often than not, a sprain is leads to other things. So yeah, they're gonna give him that shot. I think they're gonna give it a couple weeks, then he'll start throwing again. They plan to have him back, but in conjunction with that, John Means threw his first bullpen of the spring this morning, Friday morning. And it is said that he will not be um, on the roster come opening day in the rotation. I believe that they feel like he's about a month behind. They're going to use spring training as kind of his ramp up time. Um, where a lot of pitchers, I feel like come spring training time, are about halfway into their ramp up period, right? They use kind of the first couple weeks to finish ramping up, and then spring training they kind of will throw more bullpens, and obviously we'll compete on the mound against both AAA guys from their organization to other organizations, and then obviously some MLB guys. But yeah, so the Orioles trade for Corbin Burns, and they lose one pitcher, and they find out another one is behind. Um,
Yeah, it's a little rough for a team that was really exciting. I don't really think anybody really dislikes the team. I mean, people are cheering for him, and it's a little step back. I'm hoping, Felix Bautista's out for the year. They try to substitute that to Craig Kimbrell, try to get more starting pitching. So they're actually like trying to make some moves, new ownership. Everything is headed in the right direction. So I hope this is just a little blip in the road, and they're able to move past it. So we'll see.
yeah, I mean, I completely agree. If this is if this is more than a UCL sprain for Kyle Brash, I mean, that really is going to derail them and their plans, I think, this year for competing for World Series, because that's the 1-2 punch. I don't know how they feel about Grayson Rodriguez, but I feel like that can kind of consensus throughout baseball is that he's good, but he's not quite a 1-2 punch guy. Like, he's definitely a 3 or a 4. And they've got some other guys back there who um are kind of in a similar boat. Like, they're almost there. We're not sure what John Means is going to look like when he gets back. Like you said, Felix Bautista out for the year with Tommy Johns. So, I mean, if you're the Orioles, you're really hoping that this really is just a tear, and the shot will work, and they will be able to get him back. A couple weeks after opening day, maybe a month or two, and he can come in and make a difference. But I'd be interested to see what this does if talks are reopened with Dylan Cease, and maybe they try to make a move here before opening day. I mean, like legit, like they're going to need more starting pitching. And I think we feel like, I don't know if we talked about this when we talked about Corbin Burns signing with them, but like they could still use more pitching. Even if Means and Brash were coming back, like they probably realistically could still use another starter. And now
Mhm.
Means is now behind. No idea what he's going to look like when he gets back. And Bradish is kind of a big question mark right now as to what the extent of this injury and the timeline is going to be. So they really could. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they go out and they sign Jordan Montgomery. I would love that signing. He's going to give them a lot of innings, a lot of quality innings as well. And, you know, maybe not quite Dylan Cease, high strikeouts, but, he's going to compete out there and he's going to give them a 3-ish, 3.5 ERA. He's going to pitch well in the postseason. So, who knows? Shoot, maybe they do throw Blake Snell a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Interested to see what happens, but I feel like this puts a big question mark around the Orioles rotation right now. That already had some question marks.
Yeah. I think we move on to the more fun thing, which is college baseball.
College baseball's back. College baseball is back. For those of you that don't know, Shane plays college baseball. I wish I played college baseball. I love college baseball. I'm blessed to go to a university that has an amazing culture around college baseball, is an amazing league, an amazing area. Baseball. If any of you are listening, I think most of you are friends of ours or stuff like that. So you're from the South, so you kind of get it. But if you're not from the South or from a big baseball area, I mean, college baseball is, in my opinion, the most pure form of baseball. Maybe not the best, but I mean, it's just guys out there being dudes, having fun, playing ball. Like, it really is just beautiful to watch. Most of the stadiums are smaller, intimate settings. You're right there on the field, right in the action. There's usually a lot of action, whether it's a great pitcher's duel. Like last year we had Paul Skeens, Rhett Lauder in the CWS going, inning for inning, just absolutely dealing. You know, it's an amazing thing. Um, and we're kind of at the point where I think a lot of people are a little fed up with college sports, especially with the NIL stuff. And baseball definitely has been affected by that. And there's definitely been a lot more transfers and stuff the past 2 years. But I really think it's been in a way that's been very beneficial. We've seen some top teams already fall today. Um, some top teams are losing some close games. It really is a sport where any team can compete on any day, and I mean, it's just beautiful. I mean, I love it. I love college baseball. And we don't really talk about it as much, especially because Shane plays for Winthrop. And so, we don't really want to, we want to be respectful of his team and, of his commitment to them. So we don't want to say wrong things or anything like that and get him in trouble. So, but, you know, I think you have a list of some of their tournaments that are going right now. I think 4 is what you said. Some bigger name teams that are playing some competitive baseball. Shane, do you have those names?
Yeah. And I'll just list these, like Drew said, I won't really give any opinion on anything in terms of like other teams, but I will say like what's going on. There is a Wake Forest tournament that features the teams I know are in it are Akron, Illinois, Fordham, and Wake Forest. There's a baseball at the beach tournament hosted at Coastal Carolina University. I don't know. I know obviously Coastal and George Mason are in that because they played. I don't
Duke.
know the other two.
I
Duke
believe
and
Duke is in that
Indiana.
one. Duke, yeah, in Indiana. Those are. I
Yeah.
think most of them are just 4 teams, but the desert one may be more than 4 teams actually.
The
But I think
MLB, yeah.
Wake Forest and Battle at the Beach or Baseball at the Beach are just 4 teams.
MLB Desert does have a lot. It has a good amount of teams. It's Kansas State, California, Georgetown, Grand Canyon, and then I'm trying to see the there's some other tournaments too, like this. There's that one. Those are included. There's more. I'm not going to try to find them. Honestly, the one with the most talent according to baseball rankings is the Shiners Children College Showdown. Right now, the one game going on in that is Tennessee number 9 versus number 21 Texas Tech. And then the other game in that event was Nebraska versus Baylor. So those are some some big
Good baseball.
some bigger programs, and yeah, and so there's a couple other small tournaments. We won't go through all of them, but just in terms of like some big time schools, you know, the number one school, Wake Forest won. You know, Florida actually just lost to St. John's, number two. So shows you the parity of baseball, and there's some bigger teams that went down, and some bigger teams that also flex their muscles a little bit. So
Hmm.
that's why college baseball's great.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love it. I mean, I'm at uh, South Carolina, so I go to a lot of games. The atmosphere is incredible. The SEC really does have some of the best stadiums in the country, I think, when you look at atmosphere and just like how the stadiums are. Um, but all these games are great. I know Oregon, they have a really small stadium. It's only a few thousand, but I watched some of their supers games last year, or sorry, not supers, just regular region games, because I think they're supers they played at Stanford, but they hosted a regional, and I watched some of those games. I mean, just the fans out there are going. Obviously Oregon fans are super passionate about their school, any sport, whatever it is. If they're competing, they're going to show up. But I mean, I highly recommend if there's a college baseball or a college close to you that has a baseball team, go out and see them. It's a lot of fun. It's super awesome to see. Um, I mean, these are guys just doing what they love. They're not getting paid to do this. As much fun as the MLB is to watch. I mean, that's their job. These are guys doing something that they love and that they've been doing since they were kids. Usually, a lot of times. So it's just super cool. But yeah, I mean, as you said, been some good games already today. Some big teams have lost, but I truly think um, that the talent is more widespread and more spread out in college baseball than really anything you'll ever see, pro or collegiate level, any sport. Just because of the nature of the game of baseball, how volatile and unpredictable it can be, but also and the sheer quantity of players. But just it's just awesome. So go watch some college baseball. I will be watching lots of college baseball this year. Um, you know, get out on social media and call out ESPN because their coverage of college baseball is abysmal. It's somehow even worse than it is of the MLB. There honestly really is no great college baseball coverage. There's a guy on Twitter, Kendall Rogers, works for D1 Baseball. I follow him on Twitter. He's awesome. He tweets out a lot of stuff, a lot of updates and stuff like that. But D1 Baseball does do some good baseball content, but the only thing is most of their website is subscription based, so you have to pay for it, and I don't pay for it, so I don't get to see. But yeah, sorry, I've kind of been rambling a little bit, but I just love college baseball. So
No, no, I mean, trust me, I love it too. The one thing I will give is, and then won't be, I won't put too much favoritism in this. I think I can say this is my uh series to watch for the weekend is number 17 USC, or excuse me, UC Santa Barbara at Campbell. Two very
oh
good
yeah,
teams.
two
Um,
big heavyweight programs.
yeah, they're two non-power five teams that are historically good programs, and Campbell and UC Santa Barbara obviously started in the top 25. Campbell very likely could have, depending on the list. So UC Santa Barbara took game one 20-8 with
Oh
a Matt.
wow,
Yeah, they had their dude Matt Agger on the mound, who's
okay,
he's a first round pick from what I understand. So,
okay.
um, but yeah, it's a high scoring game. I didn't expect to see that, but no, that's my series to watch. I don't know if you've seen one, Drew, that isn't a tournament one that you can point out as your series to watch for this weekend, other than the
Um,
Winthrop Rutgers series, which we didn't start out how we wanted to, but we're gonna fight back and play some good ball.
absolutely. Let's see. I'm gonna look at NCAA's website here. I'm intrigued. Um, what happens with that Vanderbilt series against Florida Atlantic? That was a close game. Um, that could be really interesting. depending on what happens. Yeah, I do like that UC Santa Barbara Campbell series. We'll see how that goes. Just because I mean, I firsthand, I went to the Campbell South Carolina regional game in the last year in the spring, and it was a great game. Campbell's a really good team. I'm kind of scrolling through here, and I'm not seeing a whole bunch. Northwestern did lose to or is losing to Arizona right now, 5-1. Northwestern is a ranked team, and I kind of do that just because I'm not a super big fan of rankings. In college baseball, I think they're pretty irrelevant. I think all that matters is that you're winning baseball games and competing. And if you do that, then you'll get a realistic shot at making a regional. Just because you're winning baseball games. Let's see.
One you mentioned earlier is Kentucky SC Upstate. I don't know if you're. That's a big
Yeah.
opponent of ours.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I guess that is a series. Kentucky is they're a solid baseball team, I guess. I mean they're good enough. But USC Upstate is oh wow, VMI is playing. No way. VMI lost to LSU earlier today, and I believe they're playing Central Arkansas right now. So they've played 2 games in one day. Yeah, our LSU is kind of hosting their own little tournament. But I know, oh no, Oregon and Oklahoma. That is, yeah. So VMI is playing 2 games today. They just lost to LSU earlier this afternoon, and now I believe they are playing. Um, they're playing whoever I just said. Sorry, lost my
That's
train of thought.
Arkansas.
But yeah. Oh, actually, and that Kentucky USC Upstate is at USC Upstate. But USC Upstate, really good program. Big South, obviously, as you said. But yeah, I mean the Carolinas are kind of a powerhouse this year in terms of baseball. When you look at Winthrop's going to compete in a lot of games. USC Upstate's really good. Charlotte was good last year. They lost 10-0 today to I can't remember who it was, but I do not
Virginia
think.
Tech.
Yeah, so Virginia Tech, ACC school. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if Charlotte's gonna be
Coastal.
as good as. Yep. Yes, Coastal, Clemson, South Carolina, D2 schools, Newberry, and North Greenville University, 2 elite D2 programs. North Carolina, you've got ECU, Wake Forest, Duke, and North Carolina will all be good.
NC State
So
too.
and NC State, yes, NC State will. They're ranked, but they will also have a really good program, a good team this year. So a lot of good baseball in our part of the country, definitely.
Campbell. Oh yeah,
Yes,
and
Campbell. I
you
forgot about Campbell. I forgot Campbell was there in North Carolina, right?
Belize Creek, North Carolina, yeah, middle of
I
nowhere.
forget about that. I forget their North Carolina team. But yeah, so loaded. But yeah, I mean that's all. That's all. Yeah, but I would keep my eye on that USC Upstate, Kentucky, series just because of USC Upstate looking to compete and potentially make a regional, and obviously Kentucky's a SEC school.
Hopefully not. That's what I can
Well, hopefully not
I'm
for Shane,
joking.
but
I'm putting Drew in a very funny position right now. It's just
yeah,
funny.
no, you're good. So, but yeah, that's all. That's all I have, Shane. If you've got anything else, let's do some final thoughts. But I've said my piece on everything, so I've said more. I've said more than my fair share. So,
I got a trivia question for you.
oh, I was wondering if this was gonna happen.
Who was the latest South Carolina baseball player to debut in the MLB?
To debut in the MLB, it would have been I believe it's an A's guy. I've got to remember his name. Is it? Oh, I need to be careful with my words here. Let me think. I want to say Jonah Bride, but I need to think pitchers as well. I'm gonna say Jonah Bride because I know he debuted this past year with the A's.
I'm pretty confident you're correct on that. So Let me fact check that. So he actually had some time in 2022, but I think he still is the latest.
Yeah, there's
I don't know.
not.
I just threw out a question. I don't even know the answer. So
I feel like I can confidently say yes. We haven't had any. Oh, or is it Carmen Majinsky with the Pirates? No, he debuted well before. No, he's pitched some. He debuted before Jonah Brown. Yeah, Jonah. We haven't had a lot of good draft picks recently. Like we've had people get drafted, but they are. Oh wait, no,
actually,
there's a guy with the Reds too.
no, I know. Actually, I think you're wrong. I think it's TJ Hopkins
I was about to
because
say T.J. Hopkins. No way, It. Yeah, it was T.J. Hopkins because he got called up this year
yeah,
with the Reds. Yep,
his
literally
brother
as what?
is Brody Hopkins, who went to Winthrop last year and is now in the Seattle Mariners organization. Is drafted. That's why I know. It's because
Okay,
Brody, my
yeah.
former teammate, went
Dang
to
it!
go watch it in Cincinnati.
I thought about that too late. Dang, man. Oh, I can't believe I forgot about TJ. I loved TJ Hopkins when he was here. Dang it. I got it wrong. That's
His
frustrating.
brother is very talented too. He's now in the top 30 prospects for the Seattle Mariners. So
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah. I'll be interested to see how much playing time TJ gets this year, but we'll see. Um, all right.
yeah.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We will see y'all next week. Sunday. Keenan, my roommate, will be on, so we're excited for that. And yeah, so see ya.
Peace.